Evolution Incense going to grab that second Archeops. And now this is where things are looking good. You basically got your setup. You have that Lugia VSTAR in hand. And as long as you can get this other Archeops in the discard, things are going to start rolling. You can attack with that Raikou and knock out the Oricorio and get some damage set up on possibly a Mew.
Yeah, it's certainly relevant damage as well because it could lean into a big knockout without having to use the Amazing Rare Evital early on, and that's just so many resources. So sure enough, Isaiah is going to drop that Lugia V-Star.
Oh.
Somebody star both of those.
No, just the one.
Ooh.
Did not have a way to get the second one in the discard.
Wow. Yeah, that's actually huge here. Going to have to just go with the solo.
This means no supporter in hand.
I mean, this is the threat that the Aerodactyl V brings. You see that Pokemon down early, and you understand that it's not too difficult for Grant to be able to get that Pokemon out and going and use the Ancient Star there. So
this could kind of spell disaster for Isaiah here. The Mew deck does have access to 2 copies of Boss's Orders. So if we see that with the Mew VMAX and double Turbo Energy in hand, these Genesects are going to be big, drawing up to 5. We see a Cramomatic, couple Stadiums.
Yep, Cramomatic could certainly help out in pushing some aggression here. This deck isn't typically known for that as the way that Grant has built it. He does focus a little more on the defensive style, has that big charm there. Of course, wants to protect some Pokemon with that leafy camo poncho. So getting big knockouts on the Lugia are a little tricky, but of course this is Mew. You can draw 20 cards.
Yeah. Well, maybe like 18 because of the Aerodactyl.
Well, yeah, we'll cap it.
Cramomatic discards that Palpad Tails, but hey, you can use that other Genesect to draw a brand new hand of 5 here, needing a way to get out of the active, potentially that Boss's Orders.
Yep, a little unlucky there with the Chromatics, but you have to love this position here. Your opponent only got down that one Archeops. If you can find a way to even target down the Archeops and remove that from play, Boss's Orders and a switch would be pretty fantastic.
This is going to be the last chance for Grant to draw as well, so a big 5 cards here. Boss's orders, but no way to get out of the active spot. And this is probably worst news for Grant here.
So close. There were a bunch of options there that could have helped out there. The Forest Sealstone is still a card in the list. There's no V-Star used just yet, as Aerodactyl wasn't necessary. Just has to pass the turnover. Isaiah loves that. He's going to have to make use of this Archeops while he can. Energies need to come down soon.
Is this the point where Isaiah's like, oh, I should have waited?
Well, we'll see how he feels. This is certainly going to be an uphill battle regardless.
Yeah.
It was awkward enough that this had to happen, but you're going to have to start telegraphing at this point. Any of your attacks that you want to perform, especially over 3 energies, they need to come down early. So if you're going to get the Amazing Rare Evital at some point, you're going to have to get an energy down on that soon.
Well, here is the Primal Turbo to the active. So we're going to see an amazing shot this turn, being able to take a knockout on the Oricorio and get that damage somewhere.
Yep. The fact that Grant had to play down the Mew VMAX with the double turbo as well means that you know which Pokemon he's already focused on as the main attacker. You could get the amazing shot damage on that one already. And that lines up fairly well with that Lugia V-Star waiting on the bench.
I kind of don't like taking the KO on the Oricorio.
Do we have other options?
I have no idea, but if there is a Boss's Orders or Serena in hand for Isaiah, this amazing shot could do some incremental damage.
Yeah, there is certainly an opportunity there. This is just going to be the single prize there on the Oricorio. But when you start to think about the math here, you take the 1, you get 3 against the Mew VMAX, and then you're just a Genesect knockout away from closing this out.
And
the
Lost City, yep.
Get the Lost Zone counter ready.
You're not allowed to Silene back that Oricorio.
You know that Grant wanted to. he's like, oh yes, he didn't notice.
Genesect V on the bench now for Grant, so has 3 opportunities to draw with Fusion Strike system this turn. See the Lost Vacuum. That could just be a way to empty out the hand. Granted, you'd want to use that on something like a Choice Belt from your opponent, but when you got to use it, you got to use it.
We're going to see the boss's orders. Target down that Lugia. Has 1 power tablet. He's going to need 2 more of those. I don't think we see the V-Guard featured here.
No, just too powerful to capture energy. There's the first Fusion Strike system, drawing another Lost City and a double turbo energy, so you at least get to play that. And yeah, we're going to see the Lost Cities go to the Lost Zone, where they belong.
That makes a lot of sense. Ooh, I think we did see another power tablet. Maybe some more cards that could be played with that Ultra Ball.
Yeah, discarding another Ultra Ball and a Mew V that could not be played. Gonna probably fetch out that Mew VMAX, but it does shut off the ability for a Psychic Leap later on.
We're going to be committed to these Pokemon to close things out. This is helpful, as you do want to protect the hit points. Losing that Mew V could have been pretty unfortunate. You've already committed that double turbo energy, and now we do see that Pokemon down. So 310 hit points, 2 big 3-prize Pokemon. 1 more power tablet. It's going to be required to hit the magical 280 here.
Well, here is 4 cards off the top with the last Fusion Strike system. Last turn wasn't able to do it, but does not look like Grant has the capability to find that last power tablet.
Aerodactyl, why you no fusion?
Big Charm on the bench. Yeah, Leafy Camo Poncho making an appearance in top 8.
We've got some laughter going on. But yeah, that is one way to use it. You can avoid the boss's orders, I suppose, there, and try to preserve that Pokemon for a little longer. And a Big Charm on this Mew VMAX definitely is looking good when you only see 1 Archeops down. It means you're probably not going to run into a knockout soon.
Especially with the 2 Aurora energy on that Raikou. Now it is up to Isaiah to try to figure out a game plan. You need to get through 2 more Pokemon, preferably that Mew VMAX and Genesect V or that Aerodactyl like you were saying. Can you do it though? Like Charizard's going to be your best bet.
Yeah, we'll see
and
how to target
no
this.
prize cards taken right now, so it is full value.
Yes. Well, Isaiah's going to continue to just get some energies onto the board. It's pretty unbelievable how many of these have stuck around. Just prize cards are not being taken from Grant's side.
Oh, we do see the V-Guard energy in the deck, so it was an option possibly the turn prior, but, you know, Isaiah just knew Grant was going to whiff.
Well, that makes this other Lugia really strong, doesn't it now? It's funny to see that this is the situation that we're in right now, where both these players with these powerhouse decks are not taking knockouts, just damage all over the board. It feels like old school Pokemon once again.
Hey, you love to see it. Now the double turbo energy and powerful colorless energy are put on that Lugia V, and I think we're going to see that Professor's Research. Brand new hand of 7 for Isaiah here. Discard nothing really important.
Went ahead and already used that Primal Turbo, so doesn't have to worry about hitting those energies. Hopefully finds some solid resources to continue the turn here, but we'll see what the plan of action is here. Do you attack directly into this Mew VMAX? Is there another strategy where you work in that Raikou? I think that getting a lot of damage down onto this Mew VMAX does make a fair amount of sense.
The Lugia VSTAR is dealing 260 damage thanks to both of those powerful colorless energy. So it will be enough to kind of clean up later with an amazing shot. Ultra Ball here does discard a 3rd Aurora energy, so those colored energy are going to be pretty taxed as we get to the late game.
Yeah, this is almost a concession of Amazing Rare Evital has no opportunity. It would be wildly telegraphed at this point in the game. So as long as you just have that final colored energy for the Radiant Charizard, that's likely going to be the path to victory.
Second Lugia VSTAR on the bench for Isaiah now. So 2 attackers essentially charged up. thanks to this one Archeops. Had plenty of time to get through the deck with Primal Turbo. And now you just put some damage on that Mew.
Giddy up.
Yeehaw.
Isaiah, of course, going to take his time here. Have to make sure you're playing around all potential options. I don't see anything terribly punishing here. Your opponent is going to have to promote a Pokemon, or at least use a switching effect if they want to attack into this Lugia. It's going to be pretty inefficient, as they only need to deal 30 damage. So should be one of these big 3-prize Pokemon in the active spot to close the turn. And with that Raikou there, you have to think that it's going to be pretty easy to take some more prizes and maybe close the game out in 2 turns.
Grant draws for the turn. Now doing some math in the head. Usually where math takes place.
I trust my gut. Oh, we'll see what strategy lines up here. It's tricky.
Oh.
Yep, that's the strategy.
Yep.
I think that's the one I was going to go with too. It just doesn't line up when you have that many pips of the die out on the field.
Yeah, it was all about missing that switch on turn 2 to take the KO, and had basically everything. And unfortunately, the cards did not lie the way that Grant needed them to.
Yeah, and shout out to Isaiah for understanding the situation. Said, I'm going to have to go solo Archeops and give it a shot, and if it didn't stick around, I was already going to get bossed out of the game anyways. So understood the situation there, and took a line that a lot of players probably avoid. You might say, you know what, go ahead, get the Aerodactyl, make it happen. If you do, you win. And now is already up 1 game here with not too much time passing.
Yeah, players do have 75 minutes for top cut, so enough time, and still plenty of time left, over 50 minutes now. And honestly, I want to go back to not even the turn where the switch out was missed, but the next turn. Grant chose to boss his orders the Lugia and go for the triple power tablet.
Yep.
Is there any avenue where you boss his orders that Archeops?
I thought about it.
Yep.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being a strategy where you just you take the engine room, and sure enough, you know exactly what you're playing against at that point. It's going to be only that Lugia and that Raikou, and you have a lot more time in that situation to go and find the power tablets, make that final aggressive push, and you also have an additional prize card in your hand, so maybe that helps out too. So I could see merit to that play. I'm excited to see what Grant has for us in game number 2, going first, because that means that there is an opportunity for this Aerodactyl V, an eventual V-Star, to lock out this Summoning Star. And that, maybe you don't need any cards to go along with that combo.
Yeah, the thing that is big, though, is Isaiah was able to go first, get the win. So, heaven forbid the Ancient Star comes down turn 2. Grant has a field day. Well, you go to game 3, Isaiah at least gets to go first.
Yes, and that's why going first is so important. I don't think the players are even concerned about game 1. They're already thinking, oh good, game 3, I'm going to be set. I don't know if I could mentally overcome that if I was in that position and had to work all the way through game 2 and then have to deal with that.
Looks like 1 mulligan from Grant here. Meanwhile, looking at Isaiah's prize cards, got a boss's orders, Marnie, Luminion.
One of those 2 lost vacuums that we mentioned could have been relevant potentially with that leafy camo poncho. And Isaiah is going to get some additional cards into the hand here with these mulligans. Grant has given 2 mulligans already, and there's nothing you can do but grin and hope that you see a Pokemon named Aerodactyl soon.
And that was such a scary start, too, from Grant. Really just had to rely off that judge. Was able to get there, but then after that, nothing.
Yeah, it feels really awkward when you get your opening hand and you only make use of 3 cards. You played 2 Pokemon down, you used a judge, and usually you want to get a little more value from that, and that's where I was speaking to just playing down those cards. When you get 10 in the discard pile, it feels like you already had an accomplished turn. There's almost no way to do that when you just start with a judge.
Path to the peak, and the prize is 2 Mew V, and one of the 2 boss's orders, I believe. could be a little bit bad.
Yep, 2 bosses orders in the list for Mew, of course, so only 2 of those are going to be available. But if Isaiah did go for a strategy where you go after the attacking power of this deck, when you're only down to 1 Mew, that can be really bad.
Grant going to start things off with an Ultra Ball, discards Judge and the Oricorio. Is going to look for that Aerodactyl V-Star line, try to get it set up. Granted, still need to get some Fusion Strike Pokemon in play to draw some cards. And interesting enough, had the option to start the Oricorio, went with Genesect.
Okay, well, it might just be a nod to the fact that he didn't feel comfortable with the 2 Genesect V in play on the last game. It has an opportunity now to go 3 Genesect, 2 Mew, and that Aerodactyl V, and maybe draw into a couple more resources, because he really could have been a card away last time.
Hand is looking pretty stellar here from Grant. Quick Balls discard the Forest Seal Stone.
Yep.
So now that's going to grab the Aerodactyl, it looks like, maybe.
Yeah, when you see the discard of the Forest Seal Stone, that almost guarantees that you know where your V-Star is going. And Aerodactyl's going to come down there, and Isaiah says, oh boy, it's me and Manaphy against the world.
And then the cards left over, that Big Charm and a Rotom Phone. So even though you're going to draw 2 cards off this Fusion Strike system, you can Rotom Phone. Did you find a Battle VIP pass?
Good card.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what cards are found here. Obviously, so many great ones to see off the top here.
I don't like any of those.
Well,
I think it was a Mew.
I think it's a Mew. That's fine. It's half a Battle VIP pass. But hey, look at this. Look at all those cards in the discard pile. This is almost a good turn.
Well, it's not over yet, Kyle. That card gets put on the top of the deck, but Fusion Strike System will draw it along with 1 other card.
Oh, okay.
All
Found
right.
a Quick Ball.
That's basically a Battle VIP pass.
This turn will continue.
Ultra Ball as well, so you can Quick Ball, discard another Quick Ball, find Mew or Genesect, probably the Genesect, so you can draw some cards here, and then you have that Ultra Ball for next turn for the V-Star.
Exactly. Yeah, finding the Genesect here is going to be okay, because generally you're thinking, well, I need 2 Mews, right? Well, your opponent's not going to get a knockout on the opening turn. You can always grab that Mew V later on, so go ahead and continue to draw some cards here with the Fusion Strike system. You've got that Ultra Ball to follow up on the Aerodactyl V and get that V-Star rolling. You're just looking for an energy and a switch at this point, and those cards could probably be found shortly.
Isaiah fixing Grant's Genesect from paralyzed to just, I don't know.
Yeah, northwest. Where are we going?
Now that 4-card hand for Grant here.
Cramomatic. So certainly an opportunity here for a turn 2 Archeops Aerodactyl V-Star, excuse me.
Isaiah going to start things off like most Lugia players do. Evolution Incense. Now going to get all those cards sorted, trying to figure out what is in the prize cards. And he's going to notice a couple belts.
Well, we'll see what else Isaiah is able to come up with on this opening turn. You see the Aerodactyl down now, and you know that it's almost inevitable that you're going to be in an awkward position. So maybe you just start attaching energies onto a Pokemon that could maybe start to combat that. It's just going to take so long, and you're not going to have an opportunity like that. You almost know that the game will close out soon. So maybe that changes your strategy, and you just pretend it's not there and go for the Summoning Star anyways. What else can you do at that point?
Probably scoop and go into game 3.
Yes, yeah. we mentioned how awkward it can be, especially in Arlington for Connor Fenton playing against the Aerodactyl. You know the game's going to be over within the first couple turns, just based on if that Aerodactyl V-Star comes into play and gets the job done. And sure enough, it didn't, and we saw a 15-minute finals. So Isaiah may have a great understanding of that. And this looks like an incredible opener here.
But if Isaiah was going first, this game is over.
Yes, but he can't even feel good about this right now, because there's a fighting Pokemon on the other side that we're scared of.
Like, I don't even think Isaiah's going to use a supporter for this turn. The hand is energies, that V-Star, and yeah, completely different game if Isaiah goes first. But Grant lost that game 1, so you get to choose. And now you get to see that game plan in action.
Yeah, but just thinking about any potential way to slow this down, trying to bring up a different Pokemon doesn't really make sense. You can always go with hand manipulation if you think that your opponent is sitting on some good cards, but other than that, really, it's just got to hope and pray.
Lumineon V is the grab for Isaiah, so we will see a supporter this turn if he chooses. Might as well play it down now. You can't use it if the
well, we've already
Star
decided
comes.
we're just going to concede, right? So in that line of play, you hold the Lumineon and you just grab the boss's orders or the Serena after you use Summoning Star and the game ends. It's going to be perfect.
Yeah, you got to get through that big charm on that Aerodactyl V, but hey, it's not the Poncho, so you can
true.
boss it up.
Yep, I see you.
Second Lugia V on the bench for Isaiah now, thanks to that capture energy.
Of course, if anyone knows how to play this matchup, it's going to be Isaiah. This is so tricky. He's really just hoping that he could see the cards in Grant's hand and say, all right, man, do you have it or what?
You want to play with hands face up? Like,
right? Yeah, let's act like we're back at League.
Going to be interesting to see if Isaiah decides to commit that Lumineon. And
I love this.
Yeah,
I think you just pretend it's not there until next turn, and then next turn you look and you wake up and go, oh, that's a big bad guy. I need to get rid of him.
Ultra Ball will be the first card played for Grant here this turn 2. That Aerodactyl VSTAR is going to hit the hand and eventually the board.
Chromatic also still available in the hand. Not sure if the item card is there to go along with it, but you have to think if that hits heads, it's all going to be sealed. Here's a big Chromatic flip.
Tails. All right, we
lucky.
need to find the escape rope or switch. There's 3 copies total. You still have a ton of draws left. Not used that Genesect V yet. So Isaiah's definitely sweating a little bit. You can see.
Don't do it.
Just can't really stand still. Like, all right, what do I do with my hands?
Yep. Grant also needing to find that energy as well to go along with it. It is just the 4 double turbo energy too, so have to consider that as well as we look through. Do see the energy.
Another Chromatic.
And another way to discard it. It's going to be Tails again.
5 is not Grant's number.
You have to attach the energy. You have to commit at this point. We're going for 4 more cards.
Another Chromatic.
He's going to have to try again. Oh!
He got it.
Huge flip there. Third
time's the charm. And there you see the switch brought to the front. We are going to have an Ancient Star here from the Mew VMAX deck.
It doesn't feel okay to say, but here we are. And yes, absolutely crucial. You know, you get to hide that information, but everyone and their grandma knows what that card is.
Yeah, the card's been out for as long as Pokemon has been a card game.
This is...
Oh, no, he got the escape rope.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't think that it matters too much. Go ahead and send up that free retreater. I think we have a judge follow-up as well. And you can't draw it up much better than that.
A picture perfect turn 2 here from Grant. What he was trying to do last game, essentially, but with just, attacking the Archeops in play.
Isaiah flinched, and it actually ended up working for him. And he went with the solo Archeops. And this time it's going to be Nolo Archeops, because you're not going to get that rolling.
What is this, VGC? I didn't know we had Fake Out.
Surprise.
This has been an insane turn from Grant here. And I think it's just top it off the fact that the 3 Cramomatics.
That is exactly what we're looking for.
4 cards off this judge. 2 double turbo Lost City
and
Mew.
The Mew.
All right, well, let's draw a couple more cards here. Fusion Strike System number 3. We got the Poncho.
Oh, Isaiah's already stretching the back, thinking about game 3. This is a scary spot. As
Ancient Star from Aerodactyl VSTAR.
This Pokemon now reads that your abilities are not there. You're not going to get anything done, and at least it doesn't have the the poncho to go along with it right now, but everything's going to be telegraphed from this point forward.
Quick ball to start things off for Isaiah, trying to just mount this comeback. And the reason why Aerodactyl V-Star is so powerful is it shuts off your opponent's Pokemon Vs. It's a one-sided path to the peak, essentially, right?
Right.
But it's only useful if you get it out before Summoning Star.
Yep, and it feels like wasted cards in a lot of matchups and a lot of time and a lot of games, even when it is a good matchup, just because of the way that the coin flips and having to switch between players. But it works sometimes when your opponent just doesn't draw too hot, and it works fantastically when you go first.
No, Vacuum the big charm.
He's opening it up. He's making
the poncho's on the Mew.
Oh, unfortunate. Yeah, it's hiding up there. He actually is doing a pretty good job of hiding with the camo.
Yeah.
Well done, Mew.
Taking a little bit too literally. But doesn't even work yet. It has no effect until the VMAX comes down.
That's true. You know what? But you do look stylish.
It is all about the fashion here.
We're reading the wind. This is the hope and a prayer that your opponent just doesn't have an energy. And we know that Grant is holding on to 2 of them right now. So certainly going to be some pressure placed on this Lugia. We're only a power tablet away from the knockout at this point, and that would seal it.
Yeah. Grant did have to go through 2 power tablets with those Chromomatics last turn, so only has 2 left in the deck. Looking at the prize cards, none there, so we're all right. Double Turbo Energy on that Mew. First Fusion Strike system for 4 cards.
Just that 2 retreat cost on the Aerodactyl.
Power tablet found. Wow. Must be nice.
I tried to use the Genesect V, and I think that power tablet's a little more efficient. It's going to line up very well here, take the knockout on that Lugia.
If I'm Isaiah, I'm not sitting through any more Fusion Strike systems. I'm going to.
We got a Drapion. I don't even think that matters at this point either. It's a long haul.
All right, that Lugia V with the 2 energies taken down. Isaiah's going to have to start from the ground up, try to get an attacker. Maybe we're going to see a Rain Splash, 20 damage, go pop, pop.
It's just bop, right?
Maybe not even that.
Yeah, no, I don't even think that you feel that in the camo poncho. It doesn't really show up. At this point, I think Isaiah's just trying to get information, and maybe Grant will play down some additional cards here. You can try to lock up that Aerodactyl V-Star. Unfortunately, your opponent plays cards in their deck, so that's not going to work.
Darn. Quick ball discards Lumineon V for Isaiah. We'll find a basic Pokemon. Looks like a Rangaroo. Just try to get a few more cards here.
This is a good strategy, of course. You're trying to buy some additional time, make your opponent have that double turbo or the switching effect. You can charge up all those energies on the Lugia, and sure enough, I mean, if you get 3 more turns, you could make it happen.
It's going to be a long 3 turns.
Well, it's going to be a short 1 turn.
Yeah.
We can see the hand. Of course, the Lugia is not in the active spot, so if it was promoted into the active by way of one of those gusting effects there for Grant, that would change a lot of this. You'd have all the pressure in the world placed on that Lugia, and retreating's not going to be an option.
Isaiah trying to gain a little bit more wisdom off the top of the deck. Now passes back to Grant. Has that double turbo energy, so does have the retreat.
Wow.
Bosses orders up the Lugia. And won't be able to take the knockout, but applying a ton of pressure here.
Yeah, that is exactly where you want to be. This is pretty solid. Techno Blast.
Do you Max Miracle here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's fine too. Just get some damage down and not have to worry about the switching.
That way you don't need the 4th double turbo energy.
Yep. Go ahead and Crush, Fuse, and Strike. Copy the Max Miracle on your other Mew VMAX. And the damage isn't too relevant as long as you're able to 2-shot this Pokemon.
Wisdom yet again for Isaiah. Capture energy, shuffles away that card that was just put back on top. Grab another Lugia here, but all your energy attachments are just going by the wayside. This Lugia is most likely going to get knocked out. If it isn't, you have to retreat it. Right. So you lose the energies anyway.
And then you got to play all those energies on a different Lugia and try again.
Try and try again. You just have to hope. All right, can another boss? Can this boss stick?
If Grant didn't have
Yep.
switching cards in his deck, I feel like this is a little different. But that is the card you need. Once more, the boss is played here. And we're going to see Grant struggle to find at least that energy or the switching effect to move this Aerodactyl once more. Isaiah finding just enough to stay in this. I think we're going to see that last Cramomatic flipped soon. There is the 4th double turbo, but you'd much rather use one of those switching effects now.
And it is important to note the escape rope is in the prize cards, so there's just the switch left, but that's the one you want.
That's a good one.
You want to leave the Lugia in the active spot and take the knockout.
That is a great point. We're going to see that flip does make up for some earlier misses. We also have that Silene in the deck too if we ever needed to recycle those.
Smooth like butter. It's just been... This is what you play Aerodactyl VSTAR in your deck for. If you want to have that 50-50 against Lugia for a lot of the games, you get to this point.
Yep. With the deck as thin as it is, actually going to go for that Silene. But if this is 2 tails, that feels awful. No way.
5 is not Grant's number.
Going to play the double turbo down. Draw into some more cards. Could potentially find that switch anyways. But this is going to just be the retreat now into the knockout on the Lugia VSTAR, removing all those energies that Isaiah had attached, and Grant down to just 2 prize cards.
Thankfully pulled the escape rope from the prizes as well. I think this is where Isaiah's checking the resources left. Yeah, you got that Lugia in the lost zone.
I think you just take a digital picture here with your mind, trying to get everything understood for Game 3, and then we just get into it. We'll see if there is another way to move this Aerodactyl into the active spot, potentially a Serena available to make that happen, as we have seen 2 bosses already played.
Quick Ball discards that Aurora energy. Let's take another peek through the deck. It's just...
I do not want to see all of these energy attachments.
There's just so many cards in the deck that do nothing right now.
Yeah, that is the power of this Aerodactyl VSTAR, and it's really put Isaiah in a difficult spot here. Going to go for the Marnie, and has that Radiant Charizard as well.
This is big because the Mew VMAX did use Technoblast last turn to take the knockout, which means with Grant having no double turbo energy left, we'll need to reset that attack, and you have to use one of your switcher escape rope for that.
Right, and if you're using one of those switching effects there, it means that you're not going to have it for that potential Serena on the Aerodactyl VSTAR. So we could see the game slow down a little bit there, and maybe Grant has to end up passing the turn.
This is an important find, though, for Isaiah. That Lugia V in the active spot was not really safe. There's still 1 power tablet left for Grant, so finds the VSTAR off of that Marnie, and we could see it hit play.
And we'll see if cards need to be found here with Read the Wind, or if the hit points are going to be valued. You could understand both at this spot. Isaiah does need to find a lot of energies to keep this rolling.
Primate Wisdom finds an Ultra Ball. Not really what you want to see. There's no energy. Yep, so we're just going to evolve and hope. Seems like a Rotom Phone in hand for Grant. That's going to be pretty big in trying to find the switching out here. And you get to shuffle the bottom, which that escape rope was there. That's a deck full of switching cards, Pokemon, and Battle VIP Pass.
Yeah, you know, you could draw into the wrong card, certainly. Well, with 2 switching effects there, you feel very comfortable. Pal Pad as well for that Silene.
I feel even more comfortable now.
Yep, those are all great cards to find. Grant can definitely try to use this turn to max potential here and go for that switching out. Of course, the switch makes a lot more sense than the rope.
Well, you still have the option if Silene's drawn, you can just put a double turbo energy back on top of the deck, draw that, attack with the benched Mew.
Yep. We could also see the,
Oh,
if you do have to use the rope, then you can just use the boss's orders on the follow-up and just take 2 single prize knockouts to close the game. And it looks like that is going to be the decision for Isaiah to make here now. Little Manaphy, you did your job.
did it?
His job is to sit on the bench and look cute. I think he did his job.
All right, I guess. I'll go with you at that.
Rotom phone.
I think putting a boss's orders on top of the deck.
Yep. Lines up fairly well. This is a Pokemon that you can remove without having to use that Techno Blast. So just needing the boss's orders to close out on one final single prize Pokemon would be enough.
Isaiah trying to figure out the exact list here going into game 3 now. It's really the only point you're playing it out. Like, you know there's going to be plenty of time, but you do not want to be surprised by anything, especially with the list kind of just out there like Grant's.
Yeah, and Isaiah does understand that. We're going to be moving on to game number 3. Did we ever see the Switch revealed at any point? I feel like that might have been...
Don't think so.
Yeah, so that might be some information that Isaiah hadn't seen yet, but I also would just assume that that was in a Mew.
He knows 2 ropes.
Yes.
So
we'll see if that comes into play at any point. Honestly, the most important thing is that Isaiah won that coin flip to start this top 8 here, and he's got a great opportunity ahead of him with about 30 minutes in this final game number 3 here to try to make it in top 4 of Orlando Regionals.
now we do have some updates on our other top 8 matches. Looks like Cal Connor beat John Ang. So in the Lugia mirror, Cal able to overcome, and Andrew Hedrick beat Reagan. So it is all up to Isaiah here for the testing group. None of these players have gotten a Masters win for regionals, and if anyone's hungry for it, it's been Isaiah.
Yep, well, it's a good time to have the headphones on because you don't want to hear that news and know that everybody's waiting for you. You can also go ahead and add Nick Moffitt to that list, winning 2-0. So we've got all of our top 4 lined up, except for this beautiful matchup right here. Who's it going to be, Isaiah Bradner or Grant Hayes?
Joining 2 Lugia and a Lost Box in top 4. And we do see a mulligan from Grant here. So Isaiah going to start with at least 1 extra card. And by the way, Grant's been mulliganing, maybe a few more.
Yeah, this is, I guess it shouldn't exactly be familiar territory. There are 10 basic Pokemon in the deck, so you'd think that this wouldn't always happen, but sure enough, giving your opponent extra cards here on the biggest stage, it can't feel good.
Yeah, Grant even added 1.
Yeah. So this isn't enough. We need an Aerodactyl in here.
30 minutes left to go for this top 8 match. Plenty of time for a great back and forth game. Wow.
Okay.
Whoa, whoa.
Grant's hand is incredible. This is going to be an absolute fireworks show here. Let's go ahead and get the handshakes underway and see what these players have for us in game number 3.
So the lost vacuum in the prizes for Isaiah could be detrimental, but that's just because there's a card we haven't really talked about in this match, and that's Path to the Peak. There's, what, 2 copies in Grant's list. Just he's never seen them throughout all these draws.
Yeah, we keep looking around, and it wasn't necessary in game number 2. You already established that with the Aerodactyl VSTAR, but it could be a way to slow down Isaiah here, and we do know that he does have the copies of the Lost Vacuum and the Pumpkaboo. So there is counterplay, but you got to have the right cards at the right time.
Yeah, you're down 1. The Lost Vacuum's in the prize cards at the top, so you're not seeing that.
Right.
Capture Energy here will let Isaiah get that info, though, and get most likely a Lugia V down on the bench.
Pretty standard choice there. Got to get that summoning star down early. Also would hope to see some of those Archeops to get into the discard pile. I'm not sure if the hand has that capability yet, but we have just only seen the capture energy.
Isaiah dealing with some good information now. Nothing's too detrimental prized. You got a boss and a Lost Vacuum. I think those are probably the biggest hurdles to try to overcome. Especially last game, if that Aerodactyl gets online, you need to rely on those boss's orders.
Right. Need to be thinking aggressively to remove that Pokemon if you can, when it does get out before you. I don't think we're going to run into that situation here, however. Lugia V down. V-Star could come out as early as next turn, and then you can definitely start accelerating all those energies and get rolling.
Just a pass to Grant now, and
What does
we're
that mean?
We're gonna see some fireworks for sure.
Yep. There is a double Battle VIP pass in this hand, along with the Ultra Ball. I think we might see 10 cards.
Now this Battle VIP pass is gonna grab an Aerodactyl V and Genesect V. Most likely, that is the cards Grant has put to the front. Now you just gotta check the prizes. Like, you do not want to grab that Aerodactyl V when the V-Star's in the prize cards.
Has been fortunate to not see that prize over the course of this match so far.
Yeah, especially looking through the list, I don't think there's that Hisui and Heavy Ball, so really playing it by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, if you think about it, you kind of need it on the opening turns and finding the Heavy Ball in the right spot. I guess you do have the Cramomatic that could potentially help out, but that's a lot of luck to help you when you were unlucky. I'd rather just be lucky in the first place.
I'd rather always be lucky than unlucky, for sure. Again, just getting the correct counts needed. Opts for just 2 Genesect V, and yeah, look at that hand. Battle VIP pass, Ultra Ball, Rotom Phone, Cramomatic.
Yep, the full setup should be available here. The triple Genesect, double Mew, and the Aerodactyl to go along with it. Play this hand down fairly low and get to draw a few more cards here. Try to set up for having that switch energy Aerodactyl V-Star ready to go on the follow-up. Big
Cramomatic. Heads. All right. Do you just, is there any possibility you just grab the path and then save it?
You can definitely go ahead and grab it for now. He's also considering the Judge in this situation. You haven't used any Genesect V in this spot yet, so there's certainly an opportunity there to draw into the path or draw into a way to get that.
Yeah. Again, it is a calculated risk too. Isaiah did not play anything from hand, so you have to assume most likely a supporter.
Yeah, there's got to be something going on in that hand. You can't just have 6 energies every time.
Or,
I guess we have seen that for some of our players. You were going to win anyways then. So they're not meant to move on in the tournament.
Both players getting 4 cards from this judge. But Grant is going to be getting quite a few more. Fusion Strike system allowing him to draw insane amounts.
Yep, going to be a little bit lower because of that Aerodactyl V, but that is well worth it at this stage, given what this Pokemon can do for you.
We got the Poncho.
Looking snazzy. Yep, there's also, I believe, a Quick Ball there to go along with this. Going to see if these cards can help out here. Maybe find a card that you would rather discard.
Like that Lost City. Ultra Ball discards Lost City and I believe Mew. And now we can grab that Aerodactyl V-Star, but that's something that's just sitting in your hand. Does look like that's what Grant is going to go for.
Yep, Quick Ball down as well. Go ahead and just fail this and draw into a few more cards. If you are going to be holding one card, it's probably a good one to have is the V-Star.
Now, has already used 1 Fusion Strike system, so 2 more available for Grant. 4 cards off the second one. Really needs to find that path to the peak.
The Judge has already occurred. There is no cards played for Isaiah in the discard pile. Does find the energy and the path.
Insane combination of draws there for Grant. And you can't, it's awkward attaching this energy because if Isaiah does have a way out of the stadium, you just wasted an energy on the Aerodactyl, but other than that, you can't really thin this hand down. So yeah, we're just gonna see the path to the peak and a pass of the turn. Hope it's good enough 5 cards for Isaiah, trying to break out of this, even retreating to the Aerodactyl V.
Says, I am inevitable. Let's see what you've got. Does have a
Research.
supporter in that research. Evolution Incense as well. Is that an Archeops in the hand too?
It is.
This could be unreal if Isaiah is able to pull this off. Has so many great cards off of the judge. Of course, you did mention that Lost Vacuum is in the prize card, so Pumpkaboo or the second copy of the Vacuum going to be crucial here.
Another crucial moment, too, is there's only 2 Lugia VSTAR in Isaiah's deck, so you can grab the VSTAR, guarantee at least 1 Archeops, but going here, second Archeops saying, I'm going to probably need 2 to try to close out this game.
Yeah, I mean, we saw how risky that was, too, as if your opponent does see 1 Archeops, you're just a boss double turbo Mew VMAX away from losing your entire engine. Gonna have to take some risks here.
Is there... Yeah, no, okay. I was about to say, is there any avenue to Marnie the Aerodactyl back to the bottom of the deck, but you need to see as many cards as possible and get those Archeops in the discard. 7 cards for Isaiah here. Is there a way to bump the
Evolution
path?
Incense and an Ultra Ball to start things off. You gotta be kidding me.
Ball. This is it. Evolution Incense finds the Lugia V-Star. Quick Ball or Ultra Ball will be able to find that Pumpkaboo. We know it's in the deck.
Wow.
That will be able to pumpkin pit the path to the peak. Discard that right away, and we're going to see this Aerodactyl for naught.
You know, for good measure, you could just knock it out, too, to feel pretty good about yourself. Tempest Dive would line up so well with that there. And Isaiah is just going to make sure everything's there. We do see the Pumpkaboo there with the Pumpkin Pit ability. What a hand off of that judge path.
Insane.
So many energies in the hand, though. So getting to this point, I guess that feels a little bit bad, but I feel pretty good that we're going to see some Archeops down.
There is that Pumpkaboo. Checking to make sure. Yeah, I still have some energies that I can attack with this turn. Summoning Star. Now both Archeops in play. This is not what Grant wanted to see here.
Did everything right. Had the Pokemon ready to go. Even promoted in the active. Holding the evolution. Says, I just need you to miss 1 time. And Isaiah was not having it. Going to go ahead and get those energies accelerated onto the Lugia. Even has the V-Guard energy for a little bit of protection here. Is going to be taking a big 2-prize knockout.
Eyeing down maybe those 2 powerful colorless energies. That'd be 3 total. 280 damage from Tempest Dive.
Yep, you start to wonder about the following turn, and you already see Leafy Camo Poncho on one of those Mew Vs. If that's the Pokemon that gets attacking, not worried about that big charm. You do still have that Lost Vacuum, so with 3 powerful energies, you're just going to be the belt away from another huge knockout and really just starting to clean this game up.
Isaiah playing the capture energy, setting up the Yveltal for next turn, and you have another pivot in this Lumineon yet again.
This works out so well here. Lugia VSTAR not having it. Aerodactyl, you've done too much to me in game number 2. And we're going to go ahead and get you right out the door. Yeah, close the door there, Isaiah.
Now we're just back to the good old Mew versus Lugia game.
And sure enough, the first Ultra Ball discard. That's pretty understandable there for Grants. And this game is certainly not over by any means just yet. Plenty of playback here. But when you do stare down that V-Guard energy and you've gone for this defensive strategy, you know that it's going to be a lot of back and forth in this situation. So we see the Oricorio just going to say, you know what? I'm going to try to make it as much of a 2-shot battle as I can.
Yeah, it is pretty helpful in the math, at least for the way Isaiah has planned things out. Just a Choice Belt would be able to take a knockout on a Mew VMAX, so it would require the 4th powerful colorless energy. And if that big charm is found on that benched Mew V, then maybe we can think about kind of keeping it in play.
There's definitely a route there. We are going to see the Power Tablet played down. Just drawing some additional cards. Finally going to be using Fusion Strike System for 6. That probably feels good.
I don't know. I think Grant's probably not feeling the best.
You think
right
you'd
now.
rather have Ancient Star? Yeah, me too. But you got to look on the bright side of things here. Mew VMAX is going to be active and ready to go here. Looking for a lot.
Well, still able to have 2 Fusion Strike systems available to Grant. And now you have a hand of, what, 2, 3 cards. Now you're going to draw 3 more. 2 more power tablets needed to take the knockout.
Well, 3, I believe.
I think he played 1 at the beginning of the turn.
Yeah, so we need 3 more because the
the
V-Guard
V-Guard,
energy.
that's right.
It's going to have to take every single one in the deck. There is no choice belt in this list. A very defensive line. So we'll see if Grant thinks that it's worth trying to go for here. Going to thin down a little more. Expect to see that Mew VMAX follow up. The double turbo energy also in hand. And I believe Acrymomatic says, I got all 3 power tablets there. Can I find them at the right time?
Just 1 more Genesect available as well. So this judge going to need to put a lot of work in to try to find these power tablets. And even if you do take the knockout, you're still not really winning the game.
there's Amazing Rare Evitals that's waiting to greet you. And that's not where you want to be. You're not hiding from anyone in the active spot with the Poncho.
I see you.
Yeah, what are you doing? We'll see what 4 cards are in store for Grant. Any way to thin down the hand or raw draw into those power tablets would be perfect.
4 cards for both players, but definitely going to matter more on Grant's side.
Ooh, that's so good. Power tablet and Crayomatic. He's going to go for it. Oh, he's holding on to the Genesect, trying to see. What? Finds the power tablet.
If we see another 5, I'm going to leave.
This is huge. Oh, this is a big flip.
He
found it. Unreal. Power tablet added to the hand. Not 1, not 2, not 3. Yeah, this isn't Miami, but it's still going to work out just fine.
4 power tablet in 1 turn for Grant to take the knockout on the Lugia VSTAR here.
Yeah, go ahead and flex on him. Show every single power tablet to get the job done.
Insane. So much damage from this Mew VMAX, and it's all or nothing at this point.
Fantastic knockout there, using every resource to the best of its ability. And Isaiah going to bring up that amazing Rare Evital. Amazing destruction. Lines up so beautifully here.
And we know Isaiah has the energy required. I believe the double turbo was in the hand that got shuffled back in. And still no real Aurora energy being used.
Yeah, I think we've seen 6 energies played so far out of the potential, 16. So should have plenty of energies to follow up here.
Taking a look through. There's 3 you need.
I like those. And which one do I want to close out with?
Is there not the double turbo?
That would make this a little more difficult. So I think we were going to see just the single Primal Turbo right now. There must not be an energy already in the hand. So Isaiah's going to rethink the position and maybe try to play some more cards. We'll see. And maybe just needed to reflect and see if that energy was around.
So the game plan is kind of laid out for Isaiah. You can take the knockout here, go down to 1 prize. That means you just need to take a knockout on that Oricorio to finish things off, and pretty much every Pokemon you have in your deck can do that.
Get him, Pumpkin.
Oh, okay, maybe. I said pretty much every Pokemon.
It's your time to shine. Oh, we're going to count out the rest of these energies. Yeah, we do not see the double turbo yet, so just seeing the 3 on there maybe makes me think that it's already in hand.
Yeah.
I would sure hope so, or else this sequencing is kind of scary. Yep,
Yeah,
just gonna go with the 3.
1.
Good card. Yeah, it is waiting in the hand there. Evolution Incense, going to thin down a little more. Not exactly needing that Archeops, but it is important to make sure that you have as many resources available as possible. Get those percentages just a little bit higher.
Isaiah really keeping his hand close to the chest, not really giving us any sort of information here.
We're going to have a talk about that afterwards.
You upset Dad.
I'm sure Bradner is watching at home.
There's the double turbo Stoutland on the bench, and I don't think there's any supporter seen in hand, so we're just going to see the amazing destruction.
Yeah, just the amazing destruction.
Oh, boss's orders is still left in the prize cards. That was the easy way for Isaiah to close it out.
Yep. Well, even in a matchup where he avoided the Aerodactyl, well, at least when he saw the Aerodactyl, he made this as difficult as possible for Grant, having to play so many cards and get down to just like 5 or 6 left to close things out here. So always taking the long road.
Well, there's the big charm on the Mew VMAX. Could have maybe put it on the Oricorio to survive something like an amazing shot, but that's pretty much it. Luminiana would still take the knockout due to weakness. And now this Mew will take the knockout, and he'll be up to Isaiah. Is there any gas left in the tank?
Well, we saw him counting those special energies, so certainly has a game plan for those. Use that heat fire energy and has those 2 Auroras remaining. I think the speed lightning might be floating around in there too. Not too sure about that one, but definitely some plays left. Stoutland V even is a huge Pokemon with that wild tackle. Could get the job done on a lot of these Pokemon here.
It's pretty wild.
It's pretty tackle.
Quick ball discards the judge, so Grant was thinking about it, trying to disrupt a little bit. Path to the Peak would also be a pretty good card to get down. Shuts off Luminion, being able to search for something like that, boss's orders.
Always good to think about those potential options. Way to slow down your opponent in this situation. They've got 1 prize card remaining. Of course, you got that big charm on your Mew VMAX, so plenty of hit points in the active spot. You're removing the only Pokemon that truly does one-shot you in the active position currently. Now you're really just hoping to avoid gust effects. But you can't be thinking like that, because if you are, you're already grabbing your top 8 prizes.
First Fusion Strike system for Grant here. Draws 4 cards.
See a Roxanne in the hand.
Oh, that could have been what Grant was trying to go for. Roxanne's a little bit better than Judge right now.
You got to count how many cards are left in your deck at this point, because you could deck yourself.
Nah.
There are pretty bad ways to go out on stream, and that is one of them. So, yes, we will count. 5 in the deck, and does not want to play that Forest Sealstone down. Understands that you might need every single one of those cards, basically representing a turn at this point.
And again, Grant is going to have 3 more attacks to really close out this game. Taking the knockout on the Yveltal, and that's only 1 prize, so you're still going to need to try to take a knockout on that Stoutland or Luminion.
Yep. Looking through the discard pile, not sure if we've seen cards like that Powpad just yet, so that is
it's in the prizes.
Oh, that is a card we would look for then. Silene is another card that we could look for additional resources back into the deck. But yeah, got to look out for what can come on the other side for Isaiah now, as this Pokemon surely is to fall soon.
We got a Judge shuffle because the deck is so small. Have someone impartial shuffling it.
It was a Roxanne, not a Judge. What are we doing, guys?
Path to the Peak is found now for Grant, though, so if there's any game where Path to the Peak is going to try to close it out, it's going to be this one.
You might as well try. You can avoid the second Luminion V trying to help out. Going to just see if playing down some additional resources makes sense. You're not drawing any more cards. You played the path.
Hey, we can still get one card.
I mean, yeah, we've got V-Star available, but don't need that just yet. We'll see what Isaiah has. Oh, Raikou.
No.
So
right
big there.
off the top.
Speed Lightning and
Double
2
Aurora, he has
Auroras.
it.
That is so big. Has the retreat. Gonna go ahead and promote that Raikou and remove Oricorio from play. Closing out here. Just looking for the official result, and there it is.
Panned out a little too soon there, but what